this is Jessica Conrad. We're going to look at how to use Google Forms and Google Documents to collect data for your students, both with forms through email and on your iPad. I want to point out that I didn't create this idea. This is from Ruth from Chapel Hill Snippets. She created a step-by-step tutorial for using this, and I'm just following her directions. So what you want to do is log into your SSJCSS Gmail account or any Gmail account. What it normally does is shoots you directly into mail. You want to go into the next tab, which is Documents, and then click on the red Create button and create a form. It's going to generate a blank form. Now what I want to show you is a form that I've already entered some information. I'm going to explain that information that I entered. So here's the blank form that was created. I already entered some stuff in for my fake student, Perry the platypus. In this example, I'm pretending that Perry is a student on my caseload that's on consultation, and I'm going to create this form to send to the teachers that he works with so that they can send in information about his performance in the classroom. So the first thing I did up here at the top was deselect Require Special Services Sign In to view this form, because I want students in the school that I'm working in to be able to get to this form and fill out responses. Then I'm going to allow users to edit responses. This allows, let's say a teacher puts in their response and realizes that they weren't entirely accurate, they need to go back and fix something, they can go back and fix only their response. They're not fixing anyone else's response. And no one but me is able to view this, all the responses all together, so it's still confidential. So I gave it a title, used initials for confidentiality reasons, and then put in an explanation of what this form is for. I put in 3 different questions, and I used different question types. So for example, let's say this one I made into a yes-no question, which was a multiple choice option. Let's say I wanted to edit it. I just click the pencil button. I can go in and add another option to this. Also, in the question title, I can also add some help text to it. And I can also make this a required question, so they wouldn't be able to submit the form until they created an option. When I'm done, I just click pencil, goes back. I want to add another question, so I'm going to go up here in the corner, add item, the option to add a text question, so something that's just a few words, paragraph text, which is like this down here at the bottom, reminds me of descriptive documentation on the IIEP system, multiple choice, which was what this question was. I can do check boxes, so let's say I have a list of things that they may choose multiple of. Choose from a list, a scale, or a grid, which is this type of question here. So let's say I want to make a question that's choose from a list. And I want to say something like, what area do you work in? I can add some help text, or I can choose the question type. Let's say originally I chose from a list, and then I realized, no, I really want, this is more of a checkbox thing, because some of the staff members that I work with work in multiple areas. So if I had someone who worked in the general education classroom but also saw him at lunch, they'd be able to check more than one. If I wanted to duplicate this question but only edit a few things, I'd be able to do that. But I don't, so I'm going to delete by clicking this trash can button. So there I have 4 questions. I want to go and show you. I went ahead and emailed this form to myself and filled out a few pretend answers. What you get is this spreadsheet. It has a timestamp so you can organize things by date. and then each question has the list of answers down below. What you notice here is what I don't have is something that allows me to know who it was that filled it out. So I'm going to go back to this form. I want to edit this. Let's make this a little bigger. I'm going to add an item. I'm going to add a text item. I want to add something so that what is your name? So I know who it is. Text. And then I want to make this a required question. I want to move this to the top. So it's the first question there. That you want it. You can view what this form will look like by clicking on the link below. You can see I chose a cute glue theme. I'll show you how you can choose a theme for your forms. Is by this button right here, Add Item. The button right next to it is Theme. I'll give you a few choices to choose from. So now I want to email this form. And like any good teacher will tell you, never give a test that you yourself didn't take, and never email a form that you yourself didn't try out. So I'm going to send this to another email of mine, and I'm going to take it as if I am a staff member. So in this to box, I put in the email address, and the subject is automatically going to be what the title of the form is, but you can change that. I'm going to click send. And I'll show you what it looks like when it pops up in my email. Get an email like this, and the help text that I put down over here shows up here. I'm going to click on the link, and it will automatically shoot me to the form. So I'm going to put in some fake data. And submit the form, and it tells me that my response has been recorded. I have three options. The first one is to edit my response. So this is when I have put in a response and I realize, oh, I made a mistake. So it brings in all the information I just put in. I can add other information, change it around, and it edits that response. My other option is to submit a whole other response or create my own form. So it's really nice to keep in mind that when you create this and send it to staff members or parents or other people like that, the information that they input is only going to be viewable by themselves. You're not going to have a staff member able to look at what other staff members have put in. It's only for you, unless you change the settings, and I'll go into that later. And we're back where we were before. So let's say you send this out to teachers and you get responses, you wait a day or two. And again, you got shot into mail, go into documents and click on that document. So these are your responses in spreadsheet form. There's a lot of things you can do with it from here, but I'm going to show you a few of the most important things. You go up to File. You can download this as an Excel spreadsheet or a PDF, so if you wanted to upload this into IIEP for some reason or share it with a coworker, you'd be able to do that. Talking about sharing, you can also share with other people, so you can add email addresses or groups. So let's say this is something you'd want to share with the whole speech group or with an administrator or another teacher, you'd be able to do this. But as all forms start out, it's only available to you under your SSJCS personal account. So make sure that if you are wanting to share this information, you can go through File, Share, and add people. You can also view this in another way. You can go to Forms, Show Summary of Responses. And if you're a visual person, you can see bar graphs and pie charts. Some of this data doesn't make a whole lot of sense as a bar graph or a pie chart. depending on what the data is, what they're asking. Sometimes this is just the best way to view it. You can also, when you go into form, this is where you can go into edit form. So let's say you wanted to add a couple extra questions. Go to form, edit form. You can go to the live form to see what it looks like right now. You can email those people that you've already sent it out to. So let's say this is Perry's consultation summary, classroom summary report, and this is a form that I'm going to be emailing to teachers once a reporting period. I can remember, oh yes, I sent it to these 2 people, and I can send them an email again. And then let's say this is something that has a deadline to it. You don't want anyone to accidentally add any more information after a certain date. You can uncheck accepting responses, and it won't work if they try to send something in. And of course you can delete the form.